The next few minutes are going to be very real.
You're lying there awake, and you can feel it inside. Something's off.
I decided to describe how it feels to struggle with mental illness while it was happening. It's the easiest time to describe it because, well, you're actually feeling it. But yet, it might be hard for some people to watch because, well, I'm really sad. I'm fine. I'm okay now. So, yeah, I've been told that I'm really good at describing things for people that they felt and never have put words to. So I tried to describe what it feels like when I'm having like a very hard time. The consequence of being so good at describing it is I'm actually going through it and I look very sad. And so, yeah, this is just a mild warning. I wouldn't want to have followers or people who have never seen this before to be exposed to it without a small warning. I hope I'm defining and describing things that people don't necessarily talk about because it's very uncomfortable and difficult to talk about. And for this reason alone, I decided to just turn the camera on and start talking. I think because I wanted to try to articulate the best I could while I was in it, and I wanted Michelle to see it, and then maybe other people too. Like I would try to do my best to articulate how I'm feeling while I'm feeling it without it being too much of a mess. So I did the best I could to do that. It's tough, but I'm feeling better. Like I've gone through this several times in my life, and I'm you could say I'm getting better at it in a way. So like I'm understanding it better to the degree to which I've learned so much from my friends and like professionals that I know and myself. I really realize that it's difficult to find people trying to describe this kind of thing. So well, I hope it helps. Bye.
I'm I'm making this video because I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand myself. Is when I get this sad, I get really scared, and I'm getting more aware of what this feels like, rather than just being afraid and doing anything I can to change it. I think a lot of people go through this, but yet they're strong enough to maintain themselves. I feel when I go through this, I have a hard time maintaining myself, and I get scared that I might lose friends or family, or I might lose support, and it gets overwhelming. I think I'm aware of it now. I don't. Talking about this, it makes me. I don't know why I can't really talk about this stuff as well when I'm feeling okay. It's hard to feel it when you're not in it. I woke up at 4 a.m. and I know that feeling, and I know that the way out is to not worry about it. But it's really hard because you're lying there awake, and you can feel it inside. Something's off, or you're upset, or you're the feedback loop begins when you wake up at 4 a.m. and then you're afraid that you won't be able to sleep the following night. And that same feedback loop happens with my thoughts. So sometimes when I'm not feeling, when I lose belief, when I have trouble believing in myself, and I have trouble believing on the path that we're on. I have trouble. So when I start to have have trouble believing when those feedback loops happen. They do a really good job at destroying your ability to believe in yourself and believe in faith, like faith in yourself, faith in your path, and faith in God or a higher thing. If it feels like it takes all that away, it is really overwhelming. I find that the thinking part of your mind, it begins to lose its edge. And when you notice that, it's hard to know what to hold on to. It makes a lot more sense to me now why people have a hard time in life. If someone's going through this, it can break you. Somehow I've managed to come back from it several times in my life, but it doesn't mean it's easy, and it doesn't necessarily get easier. It still is hard when you lose belief in yourself and in your path and in something bigger than you. I think every cell in your body knows, and that's why your mind gets really fast. Is because it really is an important thing to have. Because when you believe in yourself, you can overcome anything. And I've done it. And I've felt it. And I've watched it. And it's really hard when you know that those things are real and they exist and they're magic. It's really hard when you feel like you've lost your belief. It's like being in a nightmare, but it's your life. And you have to keep lifing. You have to keep going forward. And if you've come back from this, then you know that you have to go forward. Because it can get harder and worse. You have to keep eating. You have to try to keep exercising. You have to regain your belief in yourself. So this is me when I'm at the beginning of losing belief. And it's really hard. Sometimes within a day, I can believe again. Sometimes it might take a few weeks. But I know that I've had moments in my life where it can change just like that. That's the power of belief. But it's not. It's really, really hard when thinking itself can't get you there, or you forget what to do to believe in yourself again, or you're worried that maybe this time it's gonna take more, or it's gonna be like you're worried it's gonna be harder. I really miss believing in myself, and